Good afternoon. I would first like to address some inaccurate media reports regarding the appeals chamber decision related to the financing of the defense of the accused Vojislav Šešelj. This decision, issued yesterday in a public redacted form, dismissed a submission made by the registry in November 2010, in which the registry requested that the appeals chamber invalidate the trial chamber's decision ordering the registry to provide Šešelj's legal associates with 50% of the funding allocated in principle to totally indigent accused. Any payments to Šešelj based on this decision will be strictly limited to remuneration levels prescribed for self-represented accused. This decision is in no way related to the demands for compensation made in the courtroom by accused Šešelj during his 98 bis submissions. As a reminder, the appeals chamber, Judges Guni and Pokar dissenting, found that the trial chamber was entitled to exercise jurisdiction over the issue of the legal assistance, as it is the chamber's duty to ensure the fairness of proceedings and the right to be tried without undue delay. The appeals chamber further clarified that the trial chamber's decision was not a final ruling, but simply an interim measure until sufficient information is available for the registry to assess the financial status of the accused. Should it become apparent that he has sufficient means to remunerate his legal associates, the registry would be in a position to recover the allocated funds from the accused. I will now turn to the latest developments in the ongoing appeals case of Gotovina and others, and Popovic and others. On Monday, the defense teams of Ante Gotovina and Mladen Markac submitted their notices of appeal. According to the tribunal's rules, parties now have 75 days from the day of the filing of their notices to submit their appeal briefs. The prosecution has not appealed the sentences of Gotovina and Markac, nor has it appealed the acquittal of Ivan Čermak. This means that the proceedings against Čermak are now concluded. This brings the total number of individuals for whom proceedings have been completed to 126. And in the appeal case of Vujaden Popovic and others, the appeal chamber on Monday ordered the suspension of appeals proceedings against Milan Gvero to enable the accused to be medically examined by a neurologist. The neurologist, who has yet to be appointed by the registry, is to submit a written report to the appeals chamber on his current state of health as well as his capacity to understand the substance of the trial judgment against him and the appeals process. The report is to be submitted no later than 6 weeks from the date of his or her appointment. And Milan Gvero, former assistant commander for moral, legal and religious affairs of the VRS main staff, was sentenced to 5 years imprisonment in June 2010, having been found guilty of persecution and inhumane acts committed in 1995 in relation to the fall of enclaves of Srebrenica and Žepa. He was acquitted of 2 counts of murder and that of deportation. And moving now to the courtroom schedule for this week and next, a status conference in the appeals case of Vlastimir Đorđević will be held on Monday, 30th of May, at 12 o'clock in courtroom 3. Đorđević, a former senior Serbian police official, was found guilty in February 2011 of crimes against humanity and war crimes committed against Kosovo Albanian civilians in 1999. He was sentenced to 27 years imprisonment. Proceedings in the trial of Radovan Karadzic will resume on Tuesday, 31st of May at 9 o'clock in courtroom 1. And hearings in the case of Micho Stanisic and Stojan Župljanin, as well as Zdravko Tolimir, continue this week and next as scheduled. In the Stanisic and Župljanin case, the chamber is currently hearing the testimony of Andrija Bjelošević, former chief of police in Doboj in Republika Srpska. And in the Tolimir trial, the chamber is currently hearing the testimony of Manuel Milovanović. He is the 106th witness to be called by the prosecution in this case. And to conclude, I would like to provide you with a short update on the latest activities of the War Crimes Justice Project. Last Thursday and Friday, the tribunal held a training session for Croatian legal professionals at the Judicial Academy in Split. Participants were judges, legal advisors, and deputy prosecutors from the county courts and state attorneys' offices of Split, Zadar, Šibenik, and Dubrovnik. The goal of the training was to share the tribunal's institutional knowledge and specialized skills with jurisdictions in the region as a means of enhancing their capacity to handle complex war crimes cases. A similar training will be held this week on Thursday and Friday with Kosovan legal professionals. This will be the first training of the sort to be held in Kosovo as part of the same project. Office of the Prosecutor.
No statement from the Office of the Prosecutor.
And questions?
Yeah. I have a question for the Office of the Prosecutor. I would like to know whether the ICTY is going to make any more comments on the reasons why they didn't file an appeal in the case of Gotovinac and Markac.
Yes, so after carefully reviewing the trial judgment, the prosecution has not filed an appeal. We are of the view that the judgment does not contain factual or legal errors in respect of Gotovina and Markac, and that the sentences they received adequately reflect the scale of the crimes and their individual criminal responsibility. Considering the high standard of review that would be applied to any prosecution appeal of the trial chamber's findings and acquittal of Cermak, we concluded that there was not a sufficient likelihood of success in appeal to justify initiating appeal proceedings in respect of Cermak.